I'd like to show you one of my favorite Blind Blake songs, Tootie Blues. Again, not one that seems to be very, well, there's not an excess of attention paid to it, shall we say. But it's a beautiful tune. There's no break in it, and so in this one I'll be concentrating on the accompaniment. But there's some pretty fancy stuff going on in the accompaniment, including two really amazing double time passages, which I think you'll enjoy. And this is another one in C, Tootie Blues, and I'd like to play it for you now. Oh, Tootie, only thing I crave, let me tell you what sweet patootie will do. Take your money and stay all night with you. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. Sweet patootie, going to carry me to my grave. I went upon the mountain, looked down in the deep blue sea. A big fat woman tried to flirt with me. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. Sweet patootie, going to carry me to my grave. Something about me that Tootie can't understand. Squeals like a boy, but I'm a full-grown man. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. Sweet patootie, going to carry me to my grave. Oh, Tootie, Tootie, Tootie. First, I'd like to go into the chords. This is not a standard blues form, not really a blues form. It's this 16-bar kind of thing, and don't be fooled by the beginning of the song. I always got thrown off when I used to listen to this record. He goes, Tootie, only thing I crave, and then he goes into the, well, that whole part is just this sort of intro, but because it's very similar to what follows it, it sounds like you've already begun, but you really haven't. It begins when he goes, let me tell you what sweet patootie will do. And what you've got there is you've got it's C, then this A flat seventh, and C again. Let me tell you what sweet patootie will do. And then same thing again. Take your money and stay all night with you. And then C coming into a C seventh. I'm wild about my Tootie, that's F. Only thing I crave. And C is the chord that you're not in. And the same thing again. Only thing I crave. And then at the end, it's a little hard to say what the chords really would be. Clearly, it starts on probably G7, C, and then probably F, G7, C. But he's just doing a lick on that part, so really all you get is G7, and then he just this lick and this lick, and then you're kind of in a G7th and back to a C. That's the overall structure. I'll fill it in with the licks. They're kind of, some of them are kind of vampy licks, some of them are licks, proper licks. And what he's doing at first is this double thing that we were doing before, where you got this double thumb, and you're also doubling it up with index and ring finger index and middle finger on your right hand. So your thumb goes fifth and fourth string, while your index and middle go second and first string respectively. So, and then brush. So it's, and do it again, but same strings, but you're going to the A flat seventh. Now this is A flat seventh with A in the bass, which we were talking about as one of his chords that he uses here. He's using it in a little different way. It's not leading to the G, it's just going back to the C. So it's, and then, and that's again this double thing, and then you take a treble run without bass and brush, or you can come back into the bass, either the fourth or fifth string at the end if you want. So we've got, I'm sorry, that would be, okay, and then basically what you're doing is you're doing that twice, except the second time you end up in C7 instead of C. C7. So something about me that Tootie can't understand, and you can go punctuate it with the sixth string at the third fret and then open. Squeals like a boy, but I'm a full-grown man. I'm wild about my Tootie. And for the F, you're kind of going, it's in the treble, it's the second and the third and second strings on an F chord, and you're playing them, of course, index and middle on the right hand, and your thumb is just alternating, except that then you punctuate it with, and that is gotten with a very fast hammer on the fifth string. You go from open to third fret, and then back to the bass on the first fret of the sixth string, where you would be normally in the F. So I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. And then when you go back to C, it's the double thumb, and optionally you play the open G string, and then there's this beautiful set of triplets, and that's top string, third fret, second fret, first fret, then you go up to the fourth fret of the second string and bend it slightly as we usually do, and play the first string open, second string, first fret, and that's third string open, third string, fourth string, third fret, fourth string, second fret. By this time you're really in C again. There's the first time you come into your home position, is that last note of the second triplet. And again, there's a question of when do you go to the thumb on the right hand? I kind of like to do it a little earlier in this case. I like to switch when I go to the third string right there. Thumb, thumb, thumb. And then, of course, index finger for that last C note. So I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. And actually you can go and hit the bass at the same time as you get treble. And then to go to the C7th, then just basically go to it. You just give it a note or two, and also play the C. And then you repeat, wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. So in there you go, give the anticipatory third string open, and again, and then do that again. And each time you do that, what you're anticipating is the first and fourth strings in the C chord with G on top. And actually, it's that, and then just the lone fourth string, and you just go down chromatically, sweet, and then just strum sweet patootie, and then now you're just there's no bass going on. You're just playing treble, and not only are you just playing treble, but there's a lot of pauses too. So it's but you just have to trust that the rhythm and the chord structure carry the feeling along, which they do. So sweet patootie, and what you're doing is you're bending up and then bending up and then bending up and then bending up, and then you play that third fret of the second string without bending. And if you're comfortable doing it this way with your pinky on that, well, it kind of hurts for me, but it's nice to do that because then you're kind of well positioned for this G seventh position, which is what really you're implying, at least when you come out of it. But I just like to do it like this. There's no bass notes, so you're kind of free to do what you want. And then it's gonna carry me to my... So then it's just at the end, it's just third string, or rather second string, first string, second string. Gonna carry me to my... And then back into the C. It's the C and C on top, C on the bottom, and again. But then you get the anticipatory third string open, pinch between the first and fourth strings, and then your double thumb going into a G7. So sweet patootie, gonna carry me to my grave. Okay, that's the basic chord structure. I mean, the basic accompaniment, including the chords. Then there's these hair-raising double time things he does, and there's two of them in this tune. So I'll show you where those come in. About me, that Tootie can't understand. Squeals like a boy, but I'm a full-grown man. I'm wild about my Tootie, only thing I crave. I'm wild about my Tootie. Okay, so what did I do? Only thing I crave. And you're kind of starting off with this kind of thing where you double time, where you're playing twice as many bass notes, but you don't get far with that because then you start moving around. So it's hard to say which type of double time it really is. But I guess I would say, pretty much you got the bass there when you can. So we'll just slow down that part for you. And so that's just two G's, two of the top string on the third fret with alternating bass. And don't forget it's really twice as fast, but slowing it down so you can follow it. Then you're going into your usual fourth fret of the second string, bent slightly and followed by the open string. And you're playing, then you're sort of in a C position. And you play these three notes here. That's the first fret of the second string, second fret of the third string, and third string open. And that is a pull-off from the... And again, where do you switch? On your right hand, I would say that when you do that pull-off on the fourth string, that's where your thumb comes in. So that's index, index, then thumb, and pull off. And then that's your thumb and your index on the two C's. And then with some finger or other, I'll say with the thumb, but I'm not really sure, he just gets a good strong hit on the open G string. So, and that's this third fret on the top string, and again doing the usual 4th fret to open, and then to this 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then open and pull off, and the 2 C's. So and then you just go quickly into your 7th, and then you're back in business with the F. So wild about my tootie, only thing I crave. I'm wild about my tootie. Okay, that's that one. And I have to say the next one is really a killer. It took me years before I could get it, and then when I was listening to the records, preparing for these lessons, I realized I still hadn't gotten it. It wasn't really that it was harder, but it wasn't quite right. In any case, it's plenty hard. This is kind of the double time I was talking about, where you don't have any bass notes. You're just doing licks. And then he also has this. As he's leading into this one, he also has double time. So it's either you're going like this in the bass, standard alternation, and then if you use your right hand index finger, you can sometimes get little lead in notes. So it's basically a pinch, an 8th note, and the bass. But if you want, you can add this lead in thing. I must say I didn't hear that, but it seems like a nice thing to do, to keep the fullness of the sound. But anyway, so I'm wild about my tootie, only thing I crave. And then you go, when he says crave, you go, or maybe just the top. It's one or 2 C's, and then you're up here on the 4th fret of the 2nd string, as we've been a bunch of times, but you're staying up there for what can only be described as a really uncomfortably long time. You're going. Actually, let me go back and say that you got this. There's the 1, because it's easy to get lost and think that this 4th fret part is where you're starting off, and it's not. So you've got only thing I crave, and what you've got is this sort of 3 against 2 thing. So you keep coming out of phase. Wherever you were one time is not where you are the next, and then you're back. It is where you are yet the next time. So it's 4th fret, then open 5th fret, 4th fret, open 3rd fret, 4th fret, open 5th fret, 4th fret, open 3rd fret, 4th fret, open. Okay, so all in all, that's wild about my tootie, only thing I crave. Okay, so and then you're back in this C position. So C, and then A, G, and then pull up, and then hammer on the 5th string. So, and then you're out of double time really at that point. I'm wild about my tootie, so only thing I crave. I'm wild about my tootie, only thing I crave. Sweet patootie, going to carry me to my grave. So it's a really beautiful tune. I think even with just that lick, I just love that part. And then with these double times, it's great. It was on a 78 with another great side he did on the other side, That Love and I Crave, one of his tunes in G. So I'd like to slow this down for you with the split screen.